bringing you key insights, tips, and advice from the brightest minds in the Canadian franchise industry. This is the Franchise Canada Chats podcast. Welcome to the Franchise Canada Chats podcast, where we take you into the world of franchising. Our interviews are with franchisees, franchisors, and industry leaders who give on-the-pulse expert advice and share their franchising insights and experiences. I'm your host, Stephanie. This is Season 4, Episode 2 of the spring season. In this episode, I talked to WP Creations franchisor Jamie Berube and franchisee Rachel Seabrook from Airdrie, Alberta. WP Creations is a work-from-home franchise concept that allows women and moms to gain work-life balance while helping customers create life-casting keepsakes of their children. Here, Jamie and Rachel share how COVID-19 changed Rachel's training and entire business startup as she joined WP Creations in February 2020, just before the pandemic began. Jamie's key learnings that help her motivate and support her female franchisees, and how WP Creations quickly and effectively pivoted their business strategy from touching babies in person to an entirely virtual process where clients complete the life casting from their own homes using Zoom calls with franchisees to help out where needed. Enjoy the episode. So my first question is for Jamie. Can you tell us about the WP Creations concept and how you became the brand's president and CEO?
Yeah, absolutely. Back in 2001, Debbie Cornelius, the founder of the company, had created a work-at-home model that had enabled mompreneurs to stay home and raise their children while inviting families into their home to create impressions and 3D molds of babies and children's hands and feet. So naturally, when I had a little one of my own, it was an interesting concept because it gave me the best of both worlds. I could stay home, be there with him, but still have that purpose of working and providing a great keepsake. So with my success as a franchisee, I started working very early on with the founder, and I actually helped enhance the current training and support system that she had, so much so that we made our partnership official in 2012, and when she retired in 2016, it was a natural progression for me to take over the brand.
Awesome. And for Rachel, what were you doing before you became a WP Creations franchisee, and why were you attracted to this brand in particular?
Well, I come from the corporate 9-to-5 world as an office manager, and I was drawn to WP Creations just because of the product that we have, and what we offer is just something so sentimental that I just had to become a part of it. I brought my son for his castings about 2 years ago, and right from the moment we walked into the appointment and I seen how it all went, I knew it was something I had to be a part of. So as soon as I got home from the appointment, I reached out to Jamie and just started looking into purchasing my territory because at the time it was for sale. Now it took me 2 years to jump in, but in February 2020, I decided that was it, signed the paperwork, and started the process to becoming Airdrie WP Creations.
Great, good for you. And Jamie, what are some of the benefits and offerings for franchisees with WP Creations?
Well, the benefits of our particular franchise is that we have a large community of, I'm going to say like-minded people in the sense that we're all mompreneurs. So we're at home with children while working. So that in itself is of great value because a lot of people within our company can relate to one another. So through our mentors, our supports, our coaches, we get exactly what it is that's going on. Now, outside of supporting that mom aspect, we actually also understand what it is to be a mom working from home. So I like to say that we provide a lot of additional support, especially in the digital world, because we know our market is online. So Rachel actually helps me. We do a lot of the back-end tech for our franchisees. So we set up the systems, the Facebook, the Instagram, the online stores, and we get them all connecting for them. So we take away a lot of the challenges that as a business owner, they would be responsible for. Rachel and I actually help support them with that so that they can simply focus on their business, focus on their family, and focus on what they need to post online.
So Rachel, you're a fairly new franchisee. So what has your experience been like so far?
It's honestly been an amazing experience. I couldn't have imagined it to go any better, honestly. We have our own university that teaches you everything from how to market your business, how to create these special keepsakes, and they even show you how to set up your home to appeal to your clients and not confuse them with the layout when they come in. And honestly, I can't say enough good things about Jamie and Ashley. I can't imagine how busy they are being the head of 36 franchisees, and they still have time for even the smallest of questions from us. They really want to see us be successful, and it really shows.
Awesome. Jamie, what impact did COVID-19 have on the WP creation system, and how have you adapted your business to these new challenges?
Well, initially I'd shared with you that our concept was about inviting families into our home where we touch their babies. So with the global pandemic, you can imagine how life-altering that was to our business model, because that simply couldn't happen. It was the best decision for it to not happen, especially with lockdowns, stay-at-home orders, and really that actually varies from one end of the country as well. So that was definitely a big challenge. So we were fortunate enough to get together as a group. Because we have a strong support system, we were able to work together to come up with a new concept. So same business, same product, but a new way of doing it. We package up our materials and the tools that are needed, and we get them in the hands of parents. And we do Zoom calls, Facebook Messenger calls, Google Duo, any type of video opportunity where we then help the parents create the casting of their little one. And it's been a really good experience because it's actually opened up new opportunities for us. So I would say for the most part, we've adapted well. Change is hard, but in the current climate, change was required, and our team was able to do this successfully. And parents are just raving over it because people have done kits and not have had success. But with ours, there's one to date that I know of in the entire country that hasn't worked out. So we've had great success.
That's a very innovative business technique.
Yeah, it was interesting, but it's pretty amazing.
We hope you're enjoying this episode so far. Did you know that Franchise Canada has a newsletter sent twice a month that's packed full of fresh franchise opportunities? With Franchise Canada e-News, you get new content from Franchise Canada magazine, franchisee success stories, industry news about CFA members, educational videos all about franchising, and you can keep up to date on the newest episodes of the Franchise Canada Chats podcast that you're listening to right now. Plus, by subscribing to Franchise Canada e-News, you get a free subscription to Franchise Canada magazine. Subscribe now at franchisecanada.online. Now back to the podcast episode you were enjoying. And Rachel, you bought your franchise just when COVID-19 hit. So how did that change your training and business startup process?
Well, it was honestly a shock to me, to say the least. I was about 2 weeks before I was about to board a plane to Ontario to meet Jamie and do the in-person training. I had my plane ticket bought, the hotel room was booked, I was ready to go. And then they made the announcement just to cancel all the non-essential travel.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely unexpected. And I remember the day they made the announcement. I was in my car driving to the grocery store to grab all my essentials. And don't worry, I didn't grab all the toilet paper from everybody. But while Jamie and I were chatting, she suggested I could still do the in-person if I wanted to, but we thought it would be safest for all if we did the virtual training. So that's honestly not what I was expecting at all, but I wouldn't change it for a thing. I was able to learn with Jamie throughout the day and practice with my little guy at night. And that's something you wouldn't get in the in-person training. So, and on the second day of training, I was able to open my casts and work with those. And it was just real hands-on training. And that's something I never would have had before. So it was definitely invaluable to me.
Jamie, what support were you providing to franchisees before COVID-19, and how has that support changed throughout the past year?
We have always been providing support. We had a lot of one-to-one support and a lot of group support. And at the beginning of the pandemic, that support changed more into helping one another understand the different stages of grieving, so to speak, with COVID-19, and being able to understand where one another are at, to accept the various thoughts, feelings, emotions that we may all have. And it's different for everybody. So we began this journey accepting one another and where they were at in their journey of grief with COVID through Zoom calls. We had at least 3 a week, and we've now continued our weekly Zoom calls. However, things are more stable, so we've been able to do that on a weekly basis.
Great. Rachel, what impact did COVID-19 have on your franchise? And did your startup process go the way you originally imagined it would before this all happened?
COVID-19 had a huge impact on the way that I started my business. The vision I had in my head of the appointment and the logistics of it were just gone.
Mm-hmm.
I could no longer offer clients to come to my home, offer them drinks and snacks while I casted their baby. I had to see my very first client through a virtual call on Zoom. So definitely not what I expected. But I guess you could say I had a bit of a more benefit than my fellow franchisees, as they've been doing in person for years and they weren't sure how to pivot to the virtual model. But for me, it's all I knew. It was fight or flight at that point, and I was determined to make this business work in any way that I could. So even in the summertime, when they eased the restrictions, I set up a studio in my garage. I had my clients come. I'd mix their material wearing the proper PPE, put it on the table, and then guide them the rest of the way. So I guess you can say I haven't really experienced what it's like to be a WP Creations franchise owner in its entirety, but I'm okay with that. And I don't think I would change a thing. And I'm so happy for the way that I was trained, because it's molded the way that I train my clients.
And how do you stay connected with your fellow franchisees? Like, do you talk to them about their experiences and what they're going through?
I do actually. I have an accountability partner that I work with. We set up a call on the first Thursday of every month, and we just do a Zoom call and we chat about everything, whatever struggles we're going through, marketing ideas, plans for the future. And I mean, it's definitely benefited both of us.
Cool. So Jamie, you mentioned the WP Creations is all about touching and interacting with babies, but how has your team reacted to these changes to work around this obstacle? And what other products do you offer? Like, I noticed on your website, you have products for dogs and unique stuff like that. So you can talk about that a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've packaged up everything that we know, put it in a box, as mentioned, and we do the Zoom calls with the parents, or like Rachel said, if when restrictions are lower, if parents prefer a little bit more in person, it's still socially distanced and with PPE, but we are right there. What we've learned is having the materials is great, having the instructions is great, but we had to adapt on how to use our eyes and to communicate very well with the clients, because every baby is different. It's not about just knowing how to life cast. Life casting actually changes with every person doing it and with every baby, depending if the baby's colic, if the baby's 3 months, 6 months, a year. So we've really had to learn how to be excellent communicators when working through this new challenge with families. And it's been really interesting for our fur baby market, so to speak, because a lot of people think about keepsakes when their pets are passing, right? And it wasn't always we weren't always able to have them bring their pet into the home because the pet has been unwell. So with this new concept now, we're able to make it easy for those families who want those special keepsakes of their fur babies, because we can be right there with them virtually. We've proven that it works, so it's increased our opportunity to help those families too.
Awesome. Rachel, what, if any, if you've had any, are some of your biggest challenges with WP Creations?
Well, I wouldn't say that I have any challenges with WP Creations as a whole. I mean, as a new business owner, I think we all have challenges, and I think many can relate to this. When you're working from home and you're starting a business, finding that balance between home life and family life and trying to mold time for your business can always be a challenge. So I think that's something I will continually grow with and learn as I go.
Jamie, how do you expect the challenges and the changes of the past year to impact WP Creations going forward? What do you think the future looks like, both in short term and long term, for the brand?
Well, really, they've provided us with more opportunities. In fact, so much so that we changed our company mission statement through innovation and technology. We're safely able to help families in remembering the look and feel of their baby's little hands and feet, because small doesn't stay small forever. So now that we have these new opportunities and we have the vision of seeing our keepsakes in every family's home, we've now been able to expand our reach anywhere throughout North America. So our franchisees have an opportunity for increased growth potential in their business. And all of our beliefs are truly, we're very passionate about seeing parents have these keepsakes. And now we have many different ways that we can support making that happen for families. So long term, short term, I mean, I think we just take it day by day. But long term, I see some really good potential of growth for our WP Creations brand.
Awesome. Rachel, what do you think your business will look like going forward? Do you have any changes you have planned or want to try to get into having people come to your house?
Well, I honestly think virtual is here to stay for the long run, and I'm okay with that. I love working with my clients and seeing how happy they are when they open up their casts and see how good it turned out, knowing that they did this and only with just a little bit of guidance from me. And what a story to tell when their children get older too. It's not just the keepsake that they'll cherish forever, but it's also this memory.
Mm-hmm. Great. So Jamie, what are your biggest learnings from the past year?
Well, I learned many years ago about the importance of having a team and having their input. So by having already created that structure, it was an easy transition for me to say, okay, all hands on deck, let's figure this out. And I have to give a big shout out to Angela Cote because I had hired her as a business coach years ago. And however I knew a lot of these concepts, she was really instrumental in helping me put them into play. So without perhaps her guidance on making that happen when we did, I'm not sure if we would have been as strong to be able to work together as a group to be able to continue what our business offers.
That's great. Great to hear. And Rachel, same question for you. What are your key learnings from your first year of business?
The biggest thing I learned was just to never keep up and keep pushing for your goals and make them a reality. Starting a business is never easy for anybody, especially when you're fighting a global pandemic. But if you just lean on your team and you learn that we're all going through the same thing together, it makes it that much easier to just keep pushing on.
Great. And this question is for both of you, but we'll start with Jamie. What are some things that are keeping you motivated as we continue to navigate these challenges?
I would say our family. I've said this many of times. I truly think of our team as a giant family. So as I take care of my own family and children and partner, I have an equal admiration for each of our locations within our franchise system, and knowing that we can all help one another get through the challenges of COVID, the challenges of being an entrepreneur. And sometimes we're simply there to remind a mama to have a sip of water, but knowing that we can be there for one another. I like helping by nature, and that really feeds me and keeps me going in my day-to-day.
And Rachel, same question for you.
I would say what motivates me, honestly, when I got into this business was my first thought was everybody has to have this. What we offer is just amazing, and it's a keepsake you will never find anywhere else. So that's my main motivator. I would say the team is amazing. Like, I don't think you could ever find support like this anywhere else. Just knowing we're all going for the same goal and trying to obtain it and achieve it, it's just support is amazing.
Awesome. And another question for both of you. We'll start with Jamie. What is your favorite thing about running the WP Creations brand?
My favorite thing is seeing the growth of women entrepreneurs. So my personal mission is to help a woman entrepreneur grow in different ways throughout her life's journey. When you have a baby, it's a big life change. And to be able to be a part of that journey with them while helping them be an entrepreneur, and to Rachel's point, to then see these keepsakes in many more families' home, it is definitely very important to me and a huge benefit of being a part of this company.
And Rachel, same question.
I would say all of it, to be honest. I love the team, the support, Jamie and Ashley. Our products obviously is what drew me to it initially. I think it's amazing how we can really freeze these moments in time.
Great. And Jamie, in the perspective of a franchisor, what advice do you have to prospective franchisees who are considering getting into franchising right now?
Well, I think with any business that you own, it requires time, money, and hustle. When you are part of a franchise business, it means that you're not doing those things alone. And even though we're in a climate right now where there's a lot of uncertainty and people need support more now than ever. So when you're looking to get into franchising, I think now is actually the best time to become a part of a franchise because the structure has been built and the supports are there. So you're never really doing it alone.
And Rachel, what about in the perspective of a current franchisee? What advice do you have to prospective franchisees?
In my personal opinion, if you want something that's rewarding, something that gives you those flexible hours and allows you to be at home with your children, just go for it. Like I said before, it took me 2 years to jump into this. And the thing I say often is, I really wish I would have started this sooner.
Great. So that was all my questions, but I'll open up the floor to both of you if you'd like to add anything about the WP Creations brand.
I like to share my story with the brand. And simply put, when you're considering purchasing from a company or even franchising and working with a company, I think knowing more about the people who run it is important in the sense that I tell my team I've been in the trenches. I often refer to myself still as a franchisee because that's actually how I started as a franchisee. So I understand when I make decisions or even propose decisions to my team, it's because I've been in their shoes. When I'm making these changes to better our customers' experiences, it's because I've heard their feedback. So I always like to share that with people because I think it's very valuable information to know that the changes and opportunities that we put out there are well thought out and very well experienced on my end.
Rachel, did you want to add anything?
All I can really add is joining the WP Creations franchise when I did, right while we were pivoting to a totally different model of business. I think the changes were done seamlessly, effectively, and quick. We were able to pivot, and I'm just so happy to be a part of this team.
Great to hear. Well, thank you both so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for listening. For more franchising resources, including how-to articles, expert advice, franchisee success stories, and franchise opportunities, visit franchisecanada.online. Don't forget to subscribe to Franchise Canada e-news while you're there. You can also learn more about franchising at cfa.ca and can connect with specific franchise opportunities at lookforfranchise.ca.